All right. Well, Jordan, thanks so much for making the time and doing this. I guess to kick us off, would you mind giving me a bit of an overview of sort of Maple Leaf Capital, sort of how long you guys been around and sort of what kind of work you do?
Yeah, so Maple Leaf Capital is a finance brokerage. We are very new, so we started last year, so we're going on, I guess, 14 months now. So it's a very new finance brokerage, mainly residential lending, but sometimes commercial lending as well. That's about it.
Yeah. Awesome. And I know we spoke probably late last year initially. Like all brokers, there's a bit of hesitancy towards working with an agency or some sort of marketing provider. So I guess from your perspective, what sort of made you decide to work with us and sort of give us a go?
Yeah, there's just a lot out there, right? So when
Yeah.
you kind of get bombarded with when you start the journey of looking to see about ads, you're kind of admitting that maybe you want more business and you're not going to get it through maybe the standard channels, which is just organic referrals. So when you kind of take a step out, you might be a little bit vulnerable. And basically saying like, yeah, I want more leads and I want to do it through this route. And to be honest, like I think it was one of your ads that got me, which was immediately a good sign for me. Um, knowing that you had something that was easy to click on, easy to get through, and then I spoke with you, and it was obviously just a really candid interaction. You just seemed like a normal guy, and you had a business of your own, and you were trying to do better. So just kind of clicked and made sense, and yeah, couldn't be happier with the decision, to be honest.
Awesome. That's great to hear. And I guess how's the sort of lead flow, appointment flow? How's the basically the pipeline looked since working with us?
Yeah, so you obviously know you give us a separate CRM system, and honestly, the leads immediately started coming in. I gave it a few months in my head that this would take 3, 4 months even to kind of take fruition or take hold, and it was essentially immediately. And you have a system where there's multiple lead contact points from your end that I don't even have to worry about. All I know is that there is going to be a scheduled appointment. It goes directly into my calendar, and I have a phone number, an email, and I call that client. And more often than not, they are very receptive and they are ready to buy or ready to do a refinance, which again, I was very, very pleasantly surprised with. I know that when we're getting these types of leads, there's always a bit of risk, um, who they're going to be, how warm they are, and all that. But I've been constantly, impressed with each lead.
Awesome. Good to hear again. And I guess in terms of any specific numbers you're comfortable sharing, whether it would be sort of like any sort of return or like conversion rates, anything like that, because that's what sort of I get asked a lot, and we sort of give generic responses in terms of, hey, here's sort of what we expect and what we average. What's that look like for you?
For sure. So I think when I was doing the figures just a couple weeks ago, just trying to get an idea of how much had come in, there was at least 50 or 60 leads that had come through in the first 3 months. So we're talking about at least five a week, if my math is correct. And, of that, three or four of them are picking up the phone and wanting to have a conversation, right? Which was overwhelming for me, to be honest. I even had to call you and say, "Hey, look, like, can we tone it down a bit? Can we?" And then later on, we dialed it back up, and it's kind of a toggle, which again is great, is a great offering that you just make very simple. In terms of conversion, I'm definitely getting at least 20% of the people that are either going to be immediately in the pipeline, because a lot of people, their process, their journey, they might
Yeah.
be at the very beginning of it. They may have a couple things to deal with, which might take 3 to 6 months. So I would say between 20 and 40 to 50% of people are in the pipeline. Conversion on that in the first 6 months of being here, I've probably settled maybe 4 or 5 deals now, and it's just all flowing really, really well. So I don't have specific figures for you, but the feeling is good.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And everything in finance takes quite a long time, obviously, as everybody knows. And yeah, like you usually get a certain percentage that are sort of ready to go basically right now in the next 60 days and a certain amount after that. Um,
Exactly.
I guess just sort of like the last question in terms of niches and things like that. Obviously, we picked like LMI waivers for yourself. What sort of went into that decision? Have you noticed a difference between the different niches that we've been doing as well?
This might have been the key thing that you kind of brought to my attention, and it's allowed me to kind of form my business and evolve my business as well. So you kind of came to me and originally you said, look, we're getting a lot of good results with these industries, right? And for me, it was primarily allied health. And I've dealt with a lot of allied health professionals in the past, and my business values and who I am aligns with them. They're typically the most caring people, as their occupational therapists or doctors or nurses or everything in between, right? And they go out of their way to make other people's lives better. And if I can be half of what they do, I'll be proud of myself and my business. So you kind of laid that up for me, or you tossed the alley oop, and to be honest, it's been a great thing. And now it's a niche of mine where I'm helping allied health professionals. Like you mentioned with LMI waivers, and just getting to the lender that understands who they are, because so many of them are just complex. They have sole traders over here, then they've got a casual job, and then they've got a full-time gig. So you really need to take the time and understand who they are. So yeah, yeah, you've been great in kind of guiding me that way as well.
Awesome. Awesome. And sorry, I lied before. This is the last question. I guess who do you think like this type of marketing is a good fit for? What type of brokers would you recommend, I guess, this service for?
It's tough, right? Because I'm a small business, and I would say it's just perfect for somebody who is really trying to top up their existing deals and take their business to the next step, to the next level. Um, so whether you're writing 1 million a month or 2 million a month or 5 or 10 million a month, if you want to double or triple your lead flow. This can range from small business to medium, large size business. And then the good thing about brokerages is they even have, multiple brokers that work within them that might have their own lead sources. So it doesn't just need to be one company that pays for your service. It can be each individual broker if they want to. So I would recommend it honestly to any broker. And I was curious about whether you offer any type of service to people outside of brokering, right? There's buyers advocates, there's real estate agents, there's all of that. But I won't guide you to that. But I was just curious.
No, all good. All right. Well, thanks so much, Jordan. Thanks a lot for that. That was great. And yeah, we'll talk soon.
Thanks so much, Kane. Thank
Cheers.
you.